Hey everybody, welcome back. My name's Rowan and we're playing Dragon Age 2. Continuing on where we left off in our last video. So, we are in Act 3. I think in our last video we kind of went, well, we started, we were going to go talk to all of our companions. We kind of just got dragged into one companion quest. So we're going to continue on with that. I think there's probably going to be some companion quests involved here, so... before we go, I did stop by the Black Emporium and kind of rekitted all of my characters. That way you didn't have to put up with it. I'll do a showcase on them and kind of how I do a quick build showcase on everybody. What's up with you? Are you
I'd like to
sleeping?
speak with you about our sleeping arrangements.
Oh.
Do you think he could use another bed?
Is it because he watches us when we, you know?
Well, it's just that he snores, and sometimes he stinks like a bog.
Aw.
Oh, don't be sad. I still like you very much. Perhaps you could sleep with Sandal.
Enchantment!
Cute. Oh, she's got something else to say.
You know, I'm starting to think Sandal is watching me.
Maybe he is. Some people think that he's God. Alright, Meryl clearly has something to say, so we're going to go to Meryl's place first. Even though technically our place is now her place. Doesn't look like she's quite settled in yet. So. Yep. We can still go to her old place. Probably has something to do with that mirror.
Come on, Daisy. You shouldn't be stuck in this rat trap. Does Hawke even know you're here?
I don't have to ask permission to come to my own house, Varric.
Just take a walk around the Lowtown Market. Get some air, and I'll stop bothering you.
I know you mean well, but I have too much to do right now.
I'll let you talk some sense into her, Hawke.
Varric is very sweet. Frequently infuriating and a terrible busybody, but sweet. I probably should have told Bodan where I was going. I hope I didn't worry you.
Meryl, is there anything that doesn't make you nervous? Flowers and bunnies, maybe?
What about poison flowers? Or dire bunnies?
Her
In the market
buddies.
the other day, out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw Tamlin. I blinked, and he was gone. I don't know what it meant. Maybe nothing. Maybe I'm going mad. I miss them all. Even the Keeper.
I'm sure the Keeper would like to see you again.
I'm sure she would. She loves to lecture. I bet her new first appreciates that. I wish I could have seen it. It doesn't matter. I'm here now. Maybe Varric was right. Shall we go out for a bit? I could use some sunshine. Hell, gone on 6 years in this place and I still can't fix the holes in the roof.
Alright. Let's see. That's the new quest. Let's go talk to... Oh, right. We have to finish this one. Let's go back to the Chantry and see if we can get the Grand Enchanter, or the Grand Cleric, to leave Kirkwall. There's a threat against the Grand Cleric. There's a threat against the whole Chantry, for that matter. The Templars, mages, a faction within the mages. I forget what the title of the faction was.
Your husband agrees with me.
About what?
He thinks the Knight Commander's mad. He told me she's gone behind your back to investigate guardsmen she suspects as secret mages.
Even if that were true, he wouldn't tell you.
He won't fight for her when the time comes. Would you turn against your own husband?
I don't know if you're lying or crazy.
I'm starting to not... You know what's funny is I've played this game a million times. Not a million, but, you know, more than a couple. And I never realized how much I actually dislike Anders.
You've done a great service to the city by defeating the Canary.
You're welcome. We didn't go in here last time to get all of our loot. Or to make sure there's nothing else to loot, rather. Not a lot going on as far as loot goes, I guess. I guess it makes sense. I mean, after 3 acts, it kind of gets tiring going, checking all those same corners and stuff. That's probably one of the failures of this game was, you know, just kind of reusing everything all the time. You know, you're in one place. You know, it's big enough, I guess, but you're going through all the same places, all 3 acts, pretty much.
What would you say to an exciting trip to Orlais? I hear the Grand Cathedral's lovely this time of year.
What?
You were right. The Divine will be taking action against Kirkwall, though the sister didn't say what. You must take the holy relics from the Chantry and leave for safety.
Sebastian, I'm surprised at you. Andraste would not thank me for saving a few dusty finger bones and my own skin at the cost of people's lives.
Are you saying you will not flee?
When I became Grand Cleric, I took a vow to the people of Kirkwall and the Free Marches. I will not leave my flock.
Would you let yourself die?
There is no greater devotion than to lay one's life at the Maker's feet. There is no better death than to take the blow for another.
Sister Nightingale took a great risk to warn you. Don't be rash.
Please, Your Grace. Sister Nightingale thinks there will be war.
Then, I must make peace. Settle yourself, Sebastian. I'm in no personal danger. I am Grand Cleric. Who would dare attack me?
If you will not shield yourself, then I will be your shield. You will come through this safely by the Maker's name. I swear it.
Blessed are they who stand before the corrupt and the wicked and do not falter.
Alright, let's see where we're going to go next. Might as well go down the list. Leave and then come right back. Because Sebastian is questioning beliefs. Got a quest. I guess we can go to the Hawke estate and then go back to the Chantry. We have to leave and come back just because if you don't, the quest doesn't activate. I could talk to him right now and he'll just say something quick. You know, as if you're clicking on somebody who doesn't actually have a conversation with you. Oh. Aveline.
See you again, sir.
Here, boy. I've something to wet your teeth on. Freshly confiscated mutton, just for you. Have at it.
Aw.
Just checking on my best guardsman. He's helping the men to learn healthy respect and how to run.
Haha, nice. Alright. Yep.
Aveline,
There it
what's
is.
in your mirror?
What do you mean?
In your mirror, what do you see?
A warrior? A wife? All the mistakes I made to get here and make it right. Why? What have you decided to see?
Sometimes it's hard to tell. Cracks, mostly. Maybe I'll borrow yours sometime, if that's all right.
It's all right.
If Althena won't leave Kirkwall, neither will I. I can't abandon her when the Divine's own agent warned her away.
The Grand Cleric is lucky to have your loyalty.
She'd be luckier were I willing to hit her over the head and carry her away. This isn't her battle. But if these Maleficarum rebel against the Knight Commander, Althena will put herself between them and be torn apart. I must try to make her see reason. This cannot end well. I'm giving it all up. I made a vow to the Chantry, and it was wrong to turn my back.
Sebastian, listen to yourself. You're as impulsive now as the day you turned away from us. Do you think the Maker wants another rashly spoken vow that you'll abandon when the next passion takes you?
I will not...
This is your life, child. Don't spend it being blown about like a weather vane. But here's Hawke. Maybe you can talk some sense into him.
I don't think sense is really my strong suit.
How long has she spent telling me to return to the Chantry, and now that I want to, she won't take me? It was wrong for me to break my oath to the Chantry. I've turned against the Maker. And for what? Why would I want to rule Starkhaven and deal with jackals like Lady Harriman for the rest of my life?
Do you see yourself as a prince or a priest?
That's exactly the question I've been praying for guidance about. When I think of going to Starkhaven, calling on allies like Flora Harriman and all the corrupt, scheming nobles, my throat swells shut in horror. When I think about staying, I'm at peace.
If you give it up, what then?
I suppose I must convince Althena my commitment is sincere. Then I will remain here, to represent the Maker's interests as she thinks best.
You should ask what's best for your people, not just for you.
I do not have hubris enough to imagine it matters to the common people who rules them. Kirkwall does well enough with no one in the Viscount's seat. Someone will take the reins. The fields will be planted, the crops gathered. No one will notice that a Vale lives and isn't there, and I can devote my life to the Maker's will on Thedas.
Honestly, I really don't care. I'm not a huge fan of Sebastian, but I suppose that if I were to choose in real life, I would think that duty would be more important. But then again, you know, religion is important too. I don't know. But let's keep him in the Chantry.
You're wise to stay here. No one trusts a man who breaks his oath.
I cannot return to Starkhaven and subject my people to war without a clear sign that it's the Maker's will.
He might end up doing that anyway. Wow, you still have more to say?
Hawke should do it. Kirkwall needs a Viscount.
Have you asked him? It would be Hawke's decision.
I watched my parents in Starkhaven. When times are good, the city rules itself. Years could pass and no one would notice who's prince. But when there's famine, when there's war, people look to their leaders. Who does Kirkwall have beyond Hawke?
This is probably a conversation for the two of you to have.
You want me to be Viscount?
Andraste said the Maker is king in the heavens, but it is the kings of Thedas who must recreate his worldly glory. I keep thinking about that. Who better serves the Maker? A brother of the faith, or a prince who can sway a whole city?
You'll never know what the right choice is. Might as well just make one.
Althena is risking her life by not deserting her flock. Could I do the same? It's been 15 years since I lived in Starkhaven. The people there are only a memory to me. Kirkwall, the Chantry, that's real. That's where I belong.
You're a man of faith, Sebastian. You would have hated politics.
You're probably right. Bootlicking nobles and bickering farmers, I'd have sent the whole lot to do penance. I do appreciate you hearing me out. You've been a good friend, Hawke. I will stay, as much for you as for Her Grace. I will try to convince Her Grace to leave until things settle down.
There we go. Honestly, don't think that has much of an impact. They felt like they added him as kind of an afterthought. There's some parts where, you know, same thing with Fenris, actually. There's parts in the game where they should have an opinion, but they don't, just because they didn't really give them one. If that makes sense. Hold on. Let's check our... Who's next? The Storm and what came before it. Varric. So let's go talk to Varric.
I hear the champion of Kirkwall's killed a dozen dragons and sleeps on a bed made from their bones. And I hear he uses the Arashok's skull as a gravy boat. You really believe everything you hear, don't you?
A face to forget, but do I know you, Kunari?
Talvashoth, once of the Wounded Coast. I had left my fellows. You convinced me to turn on them. It was long ago. I am now Maras, mercenary of Kirkwall. Time has been kind to your name, champion.
Does Maras mean something?
It means nothing. I have no role, except for what I choose.
Is that good or bad?
It just is.
He's still Kunari.
I'm surprised to see any Kunari or Talvashoth in the city.
The Kunari died with the Arishok, as they believed they were meant to. Many Talvashoth were also killed, just in case. Time has calmed those fears. Now I am hired as much for my appearance as my skill. Life is comfortably empty. I see the appeal.
Do I have to worry about this old scar?
I felt no kinship to those dead when they lived. You pushed, but the killing was my choice. It led to many more, for many reasons. So no, you and I are not enemies.
So, interested in some work?
Yes, but not with you.
Why?
I do not work for those with titles. They do not have jobs, they have causes. When you stand for more, more stand against you.
That's interesting.
Farewell, then.
Interesting and wise.
Panehedan, Sira Hawke.
That man over there, he's been staring at me for an entire hour. I counted.
Yeah, there's Isabella, too.
He knows. He knows that I know. So what he doesn't know is that I know that he knows that I know.
I know he knows that I know, but what he doesn't know is that I know that he knows that I know that he knows. Too funny.
Don't ingest the merchandise. It's not recommended.
I could probably give this to Meryl. I forgot. I got to show you guys my builds. Just making sure there's nothing new here. Nope, guess not. Alright, well, I switched her up. I pretty much switched all my companions up, even Hawke a little bit. So I put her, I wanted to get the knockdown resistance, the stun resistance, the damage resistance from this tree. I did switch her from using Rally and Battle Synergy. Battle Synergy, I actually learned, isn't quite as good for a non-melee party. If you have a ranged party, it's not as good. If you have a melee party, or mostly, or almost, or better yet, entirely melee ranged party, this is great, because this is based off of, it has a range around Aveline, and it depends on how close, how many allies she's got within range of her, as you can see here. So the party gets damage reduction for being closer to her, and she gets more defense for party members being close to her as well. So it synergizes with a melee party. On the other hand, since I pretty much exclusively choose ranged parties, Bravery is better. I'm not really increasing her damage, so I didn't go with that. I will eventually fill this out, but I wanted to get... I will eventually have to get Stagger first. But I also filled out Sword and Shield more. She's getting more damage resistance from rear attacks now, which is going to be great whenever she gets attacked by stealthies, basically. And also, she's got a chance that blows against her are glancing blows, which means reduced. I've gave her a few damage abilities that take advantage of Stagger and Disorient. So what you're going to see from all of my combos, or you're going to see cross-class combos from all of my party members more often. As a rogue, I do Disorient, and then I can take advantage of Mage and Warrior debuffs. And as a Warrior, she can take advantage of Rogue debuffs and Mage debuffs, and she can stagger opponents. And then as a Mage, Meryl, or I don't really think I did much with him in that regard. I made him more of a healer, actually. I'll show you. But as a Mage, she can take advantage of Rogue and Warrior cross-class combos, but her own debuff is Brittle. I think it's called Brittle. So, anyway, it's a little bit of a synergy. Cross-class combos apparently in this game are quite powerful. How powerful, we have yet to see, because I've never really made too much of an effort to go out of my way to use them. But anyway, so you'll see her doing a little bit more damage now, rather than taking, like, she might take more damage too. I can't really tell yet. Probably, yeah, she probably will take a little bit more damage. She's gonna do better threat though, I think, as well, since she's doing more damage, and since her threat is going to be based on how many enemies are nearby her. So the more enemies she has nearby her, the more threat she'll do. While before, she wasn't actually getting that much of a threat transfer, because most of our companions weren't close enough to her. So, even though she was getting a little bit of damage reduction, like defense and stuff. Alright, and then as for Anders, I basically turned him into a little bit more of a healer. This is going to sound a little crazy, but I basically had maxed him out as good as I could get, with the exception of going into the Vengeance traits. Now, this sounds crazy because Panacea and Vengeance are mutually exclusive. You can only use one of these. You cannot use both. And while you're using Panacea, you can't damage. And while you're using Vengeance, you can't... you can heal, but you are immune to healing. However, there's still a benefit. So long as we're careful and we take care of Anders, make sure we kill anybody that's attacking Anders, he can be in vengeance mode and use reduced cooldown for his spells, and use martyr, which will significantly reduce cooldown for his spells, which will make his heals come back online quicker. So his next level, which is very soon by the looks of it, I'll probably give him martyr and have him use this to reduce the cooldown of heal and aid allies and regroup, and his buffs like haste and stuff like that. Haste has a 60-second cooldown, but if I use that ability like twice, it basically brings it right back off cooldown so he could use it again. All of his glyphs, you know, paralysis, repulsion, and stuff like that, all that's going to be important. I went ahead and gave him Arcane Shield fully fleshed out, and Heroic Aura fully fleshed out. So that's going to give our party buffs. And his tactics are most interesting of all because he's switching back and forth between Panacea. So basically, instead of always having Panacea active like I was before, it takes up 40% or 70% of his mana reserves. Either 40 or 70. I forget which one. Let's see. Panacea. 40%. So 40%, and if I were to add this plus 20, and then this plus 20, that's 80 total percent of his mana, which leaves him barely enough to cast. Not good. So basically, I've got him using these two as his mains. He only switches Panacea on if all of the group needs healing at once, and it's real quick, so that way he can use group heal. And then once everybody's healed back up, or rather he's back up to a certain amount of health, then he switches Panacea back off, so that way he has mana to cast spells again. And finally, Meryl, I actually gave her blood magic. I'm going to try a blood magic build. Apparently in this game, blood magic doesn't actually do friendly fire. Or at least her ability doesn't. Wounds of the Past targets enemies only. It does paralyze them, reduces their armor to 0, and their damage resistance to 0, and then it does a lot of damage while they're paralyzed. So we're going to get to see that in action. While she's got this on, she's immune to healing, so I've got another sustained mode, Wrath of the Elven, which basically heals her 1% for every nearby enemy. So basically, the more enemies that are surrounding and attacking her, she'll probably make a pretty good tank. I'm going to test it with an actual tank in the party just to make sure, but I might use her as an alternative to Aveline from time to time. We'll see what happens. I'm just testing it for now. But otherwise, I've basically still got her, you know, using Crushing Prison as a stun, reaction to stagger. Remember those cross-class combos I was talking about? She does brittle, and she'll react to disorient targets in her tactics. She can brittle enemies. This one reacts to stagger, so she actually does disorient and stagger reactions. So overall, she's going to be a real powerhouse, and I think a decent tank, because she's going to have rock armor and a constant slow heal on her while she's got enemies nearby attacking her. That's it for now. I will flesh things out a little bit more, though. I think I'll probably use Stone's Throw, so that way she can get closer to allies that are taking damage. Teleport to Hawke or teleport to Anders if need be. I'll probably get Horror also, again, so that way we've got another reliable stun on any elite enemies that are, you know, giving us grief. Probably death hacks, maybe even misdirection hacks for the bosses. Sleep is good as well, but I don't know if I'll use sleep. We'll see. She's got plenty of tools already as it is, and she's going to be doing quite a bit of damage. And then as for Hawke, I've got him built mostly the same, but I did add in Assassinate. I got rid of the stun because I noticed I wasn't really using it too often. I have Inconspicuous still. I did get rid of the AoE damage with Decoy. I might get it back, but I'm focusing on a couple other areas first. I still have this. I think what I'll probably do is try to focus on... We'll see, but I'm thinking about trying to get Fatiguing Fog, maybe Confusion and Chaos. I still haven't quite made up my mind. We'll see. Definitely going to upgrade Mark of Death a bit more too. Varric, I actually gave him this tree. So he's going to be doing a little bit more threat management. I was doing that, but now I'm going to be doing more damage, it looks like. So, let me think. Who else? Got Varric. We've already showed both mages. Fenris, I took out of tank. He's going to be a damager. I think he'll be okay. He does quite a... I'm not sure how much damage he does, but he's still quite tanky, but he's not going to be focusing on being a tank. It's very difficult to do unless you've got basically a super high level and you can put points wherever the hell you want, you know? Yeah, and his stats don't really go for it either. He doesn't have threat generation. He does damage based on threat generation, while she's got shield defense. Her threat generation is increased by 100%. On top of that, she's got bravery helping her out too. So she's... Yeah, he might... I think he'll probably struggle with real threat generation. Anyway, I wanted to kind of showcase that. Isabella, I've spec'd a little bit. She's... I haven't messed with her yet, but I plan on basically doing the same thing with the other rogues. I'm going to give her like a, you know, the scoundrel type tree. Where did that go? Sorry. Scoundrel type tree, or maybe I'll use sabotage is more likely. Sabotage, and I'll give her her duelist. She's got a different, it's not duelist, but it's similar to it. It's called swashbuckler. I'm going to spec into that, so that way she's nice and tanky. And she can use her vendetta ability. Yeah. And then we'll, of course, use dual weapon and specialist as well, like all the other rogues. Give her a... she's going to be the only rogue other than Varric that has 2 sustains, actually. Well, technically, I guess I have 2 sustain if you count 2 sustains if you count the Mabari. Anyway, we're going to talk to Varric.
If you think that was bad, I should tell you about the Black Marsh.
I remember that.
See, when you say things like that, Blondie, it just makes me glad I didn't know you sooner. Who goes to a place named Black Marsh on purpose? Now, if they called it Beer Marsh. No, still doesn't work.
You've got a point. The marsh part does cancel out anything else. Flower Marsh, Kitten Marsh. No, no good. Ah, you've got company. I'll see you later.
Hawke, what can I do for you?
What was Anders here for?
Only place in Kirkwall he can get a decent drink. Blondie comes by here and I put him on my tab. He's got some stories about his days in Ferelden that sound implausible, even to me.
It's all true.
He's not bad for a mage. Crazy, but that's most everyone in this city.
I wouldn't say no to a pint.
I should make you buy the drinks, oh champion of Kirkwall.
So, what's the word in Lowtown, Varric?
Nothing you don't know already. The Viscount's departure, a vacuum of power, troubles brewing. Get rid of one thread and another appears. I'm starting to think this city's in love with Crisis. Hope you're ready for it, my friend. I'm keeping Bianca close.
Oh man, that reminded me of the Veilguard trailer. Bianca was broken in the gameplay demo. I was like, I sniffled a little bit. I was very sad because Bianca's been with us in 2 games now. Hey, Isabella, while we're here.
Oh, that looks like the house special. Whiskey flavored with rat droppings.
You don't have to keep checking up on me. I'm fine.
I'm just here for the rat-flavored whiskey.
Right. Remember what you said after the mess with the Kunari.
I'm proud of you for doing the right thing.
It may have been the right thing, but it was also the dumb thing. The relic was mine. I should have kept running.
I couldn't have saved Kirkwall without you.
Bullshit. You could have stormed the keep and slaughtered all those Kunari if you had to. You and Aveline. I mean, look at her. She's a woman-shaped battering ram. The fact is, you and I have nothing in common anymore. You're a champion, and I'm just a lying, thieving snake.
You're just afraid of being anything else.
I don't know how to be anything else.
I bet there's a heart of gold in you. We just have to dig it out and sell it.
Tell you what, I'll be here if you need me.
There we go. Now we can add her back.
I found this amazing hat shop in Lowtown.
I'm doing a little writing.
What's a speed griffin? Do they zip around Thedas, terrorizing Darkspawn with their lightning reflexes? Speed griffin.
Probably some inside joke between the devs that I don't know about.
The champion of Kirkwall killed a duck.
Alright, let's see. Check on Anders, Aveline, and Fenris. Let's go to Sir Mopey himself. I mean, that's technically 2 of them. Fenris or Anders. They're both Sir Mopey. Sir Mopes a lot. I should probably do Anders last, really. Real quick confession. When I was fooling around with my guys' talents and builds, I came here to switch my party up. And then I got attacked by some people over here.
Aveline.
But she didn't miss much.
You look after Hawke, won't you?
Of course I will. What kind of a question is that?
And sometimes Isabella gets into awful trouble. You'll watch out for her too.
Meryl, what brought this on?
Anything could happen. You'll protect them though. It's what you do.
There's nothing to worry about, Meryl.
That's ominous. Sounds like she's about to start giving away her stuff. I really should talk to Anders last, but you know what? We're already here and I'm lazy. Hey, there's the Kunari sword. Turn that into that guy in Hightown.
You think I don't know the city guard is just another arm of the Templars?
Oh, come on,
That is
Anders.
completely unfair.
If they show up here, I'll know who to blame. That's all I'm saying.
Anders, come on, man.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean for you to see that. I just can't be too careful. Now that the Knight Commander has basically appointed herself Viscount.
Between ruling the city and torturing mages, it's a wonder she has time to keep that sword so shiny.
She has nearly crushed the flame of hope for mages here. The mage underground is all but destroyed, and those left have turned to blood magic as their only option, which Meredith knows will prevent any chance of the public taking their side.
You don't think that kind of proves her point?
The Blight was stopped only with the aid of 2 mages, one an apostate. But it makes no difference. The Chantry set us on this path long ago. It would take something truly catastrophic to change people's thinking now.
By the way, what you're seeing here is me saying things, and since my guys are maxed out in approval, since I maxed it out in Act 2, you don't lose approval, I guess, once you've maxed out your approval with them. Which is probably a good thing. Their little buffs that they get. Actually, now that I have it and I'm right next to this thing, I should switch out Isabella. Because she wasn't actually part of our party. I couldn't mess with her. I couldn't mess with her spec. So I'm going to do that now. I'll pause it, don't worry. Okay, so basically just to show you what I've got here. Of course, I built out her specialist tree, so she's got extra speed to her attacks. I've gave her a crit chain, so that way she can build up her crit chance. I can flesh that out with explosive strike at some point if I want. I'm not sure if I will. I'm definitely going to be using mostly backstabs and melee attacks with her. She's also got kind of an AoE teleport to enemy kind of ability, I think. I don't know if this teleports to them or not. But this gives them a chance, gives her a chance to backstab in an AoE area. An 8 meter area, which I've got her on tactics doing if it's clustered. She taunts anybody who attacks Anders, who is our healer, of course. She's got this running at all times, so that way she does more more damage, and she gets she gets more defense when she's surrounded by enemies. I've actually got she's got higher defense, crit chance, higher attack, and crit damage. That ability stuns as well. Of course, all of our rogues are going to have this because this is a no-brainer. She teleports away when she's being attacked. She'll teleport to me, Hawke, which will actually make her stealth. And of course, she regenerates her stamina twice as quickly while she's attacking. Rogues do generate stamina with auto attacks, by the way. That's another thing. That's an interesting thing you might not know. Anyway, basically in her tactics, I've got her as a kind of a straggler. She picks off magic enemies and ranged enemies. And I've got her protecting Anders as well, with taunts and stuff. So she's got a decent amount of defense since she's got the savvy. Yeah, and she's going to be a little bit higher dexterity as well compared to the other rogues, who will mainly be choosing... well, they use both dexterity and cunning, but cunning is less important for her than it is for other rogues. Anyway, got all their friendships maxed out. Look at that. Alright, we're going to switch back. Meryl, because we're experimenting here. Now, let's put everybody's sustains on. Now, here's another interesting thing about Meryl's sustains, specifically. So since she's using Blood of the First, she's actually using her own health to fuel her spells. So you don't even need mana, which means I run sustains until she has 0% mana left. None. So at all times, she has no mana. She's only using her health to fuel spells. And it's only a little bit. She's got a ring here that actually decreases the amount of health used, or rather increases the amount of mana she gets per health use, basically. If that makes sense. I don't know if it does. Alright, let's put everybody's chains on. She still has 88. That's enough to use everything she needs. Alright, let's see who's next. You'll have Fenris and Aveline. Let's do Sir Mopey number 2, and then we'll go talk to Aveline, who's one of my favorite companions in this game. I just like her personality. Like, I like her as a person, I should say.
Break some heads tomorrow, maybe. Good payday.
See if there's anything that we can attack over here, by the way. We've been attacked by one group in this area, so let's see if we can clear them out. The attackers out, if there are any. Yep, right there. Very good, very good. Ooh, did you see that assassinate? Oh, this is gonna be fun. I am a little bit disappointed. I wish her health was a little higher. We'll work on that. I put her stats in kind of weird places, I guess. And got a level. Let's see, where are we gonna put our new Your chance for stealth, chance for flank. We'll do that. Oh, right, we have our other stats too. High dexterity. Look at that, crit chance is 98%. Yeah, we're going like 100% cunning from here on out.
Don't like Darktown? Die and make move.
Damn. Got a little bit mean down here in Darktown. She said die and make room. Alright, Fenris's mansion. We'll have to get used to using our new abilities. Well, we only have one new ability, really. Just this one. If you're wondering why I put all this down here, including a mana potion, it's because I want to be able to monitor how many I need. I can already tell that I need to restock a little bit on these. Anyway.
Are you certain it's her?
An elf matching your description on the ship you named, and alone as far as I could tell.
I need to know if it's a trap.
I did as you asked, Fenris. Now it's up to you. You talk to him, Hawke. I've had my fill for today.
Yeah.
Fenhidis, first of us.
Maybe it's just me, but I'd swear you're upset.
It's my sister. I didn't tell you, but I followed up on Hadriana's information. Everything she said was true. I had to keep it quiet, but I eventually contacted Verania and sent her coin enough to come meet me. And now she's here.
She was in Carinus after all.
My sister left Magister Ahriman's service, and I found her in Minrathus. That made things more difficult. But according to the men I paid, it's just as Hadriana said. She's not a slave. She's a tailor, in fact. Getting a letter to her was difficult, and she didn't believe me at first. But she's finally come.
Yes, everything's gone exactly according to plan. What could be worse?
Yes, yes, laugh at me. Come with me, Hawke. I need you there when I meet her.
Where is she?
If we go to the Hanged Man during the day, she'll be there, for the next week at least. It would mean a lot to me. That's all I ask.
You know we're going with you, bro. Come on. Alright, so here's what I think is I'm going to... Let's give Meryl a chance to try to tank. What do you think? We're going to do that. We're going to have Fenris as a damage dealer, him as a healer, and Meryl as the tank. I want to see if it works. I'll save it just in case. We'll save here. Then we'll swap out Aveline with Fenris. Meryl's going to be our tank. Now let's check. I'll pause it real quick while I check all of our tactics and make sure there's nothing that needs to be swapped out or added to account for Meryl being the tank. One thing that I did want to showcase here is her talent tactic setup here. So I've got Wrath of the Elven set to activate at any given time, and this one is active as long as her health is equal to or above 90%, and then it deactivates below 25%. And the only time she uses a health potion is if she's below 25%. And I put this underneath deactivate because this will not work if Blood of the First is active. And that's what I wanted to showcase. Pretty much everything else is pretty standard. I do have a unique setup here for certain abilities. So enemy target rank is elite or higher. Right, I want her to use Crushing Prison for elites, but I only want her to use it if they're staggered. So basically, if they're elite or higher, use this condition for the next tactic, which is if they're staggered, use Crushing Prison. I didn't know how to use this before, and I figured it out. I'm not 100% sure this is going to work because I haven't actually used it yet. But we'll see. If we come across an elite and we see Crushing Prison being used on them after they were staggered, then we'll know this is going to work. She shouldn't be using Crushing Prison at all unless they're staggered. So, yeah. That's going to be interesting. And he's my staggerer, by the way. He's got abilities. Cleave will stagger. Mighty Blow's good for brittle. He's also got Pommel Strike, which is 100% stagger if they're stunned. Not the perfect setup. We'll eventually get him to be able to stagger more often. Honestly, Aveline is better with staggering, folks. She's got the sword and shield abilities and stuff set up. Anyway, I just wanted to showcase. I could probably showcase his abilities too. I haven't done that yet. So we've given him Lyrium Ghost fully upgraded, so that way he's got the damage, critical chance, defense, all that stuff. He'll get stamina when he kills people. His damage goes up whenever his health goes down. That's going to be kind of cool. And his attack speed, every time he kills somebody, his attack speed increases by another 30% by 10 seconds. For 10 seconds. So he can really dish out some damage if the battle keeps going, He's got the increased damage, attack, and crit, the more enemies that are surrounding him. He doesn't really use taunt. He could probably use it as an emergency. I can, if I need to, I can maybe give him a tactic that he'll use taunt when Andrews is being attacked. But I've got him using Pommel Strike on elites. I've given him... I don't think I actually gave him... Yeah, he's not going to be using either of these. Just because his... he can pretty much only use 2 of them. He does death blows on enemies below 20% health, 10% if they're lieutenants, which is, I think that's what the elite is. And enemies are less likely to resist his crits and his basic attacks. And he's got cleave, which is a super strong. If the enemy's brittle, they stun. And a super strong chance of staggering, 10%, which isn't super high, but it's going to up his damage even more. He's going to be a good powerhouse, I'm predicting. It's going to be really strong. I intentionally didn't give him Giant's Reach, because that is going to... This is his next point right here, by the way. When he crits, he has a chance to stagger enemies. And he's going to crit quite a bit, I think. He's got a decent crit chance. Anyway, just wanted to showcase since I didn't show you guys that. Alright, I think we're going to give it a try. We've already saved just before we swap, so if this doesn't work out, then we know what to do. That's assuming we have to fight. We're going to the Hangman after all.
It really is you.
Uh-oh.
Verania? I remember you. We played in our master's courtyard while Mother worked. You called me.
Leto. That's your name.
What's wrong?
Shit.
Why are you so...
It's a trap. Ah, my little Fenris. Predictable as always.
I'm sorry it came to this, Leto.
You led him here.
Now, Fenris. Don't blame your sister. She did what any good Imperial citizen should.
I never wanted these filthy markings, Daenerys. But I won't let you kill me to get them.
How little you know, my pet. And this is your new master, then? The champion of Kirkwall? Impressive.
Take him.
Fenris doesn't belong to anyone. Do I detect a note of jealousy? It's not surprising. The lad is rather skilled, isn't he?
Shut your mouth, Daenerys.
The word is master.
Alright, here goes the test. Meryl, can you do it? I'm loving this already. Where'd Daenerys go? Oh, Daenerys is running away. We don't actually get to kill him in this.
I think that's enough of that.
One more is vanquished.
Good, we've got more. All right. Well, she doesn't maintain threat very well, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Rage Demon. Well, stuff's dying fast, that's for sure. Oh, Daenerys is back. Daenerys is using a shield. Well, stuff dies really fast, at least. Oops. Oh, how did you teleport? Well, that's interesting. So much damage. Do you see how quickly I took him down? Oh man, who needs a tank when you just kill everything so fast?
You are no longer my master.
I had no choice, Leto.
Stop calling me that.
He was going to make me his apprentice. I would have been a magister.
You sold out your own brother to become a magister.
Your sister's a mage. You bloody hypocrite. You really are just jealous.
Anders.
You have no idea what we went through. What I've had to do since Mother died. This was my only chance.
And now you have no chance at all.
Please, don't do this. Please, tell him to stop.
Wait. Don't kill her.
Why not? She was ready to see me killed. What is she to me other than just one more tool of the Magisters?
This is your family, Fenris.
Get out.
You said you didn't ask for this, but that's not true. You wanted it. You competed for it. When you won, you used the boon to have Mother and I freed.
Why are you telling me this?
Freedom was no boon. I look on you now, and I think you received the better end of the bargain.
I thought discovering my past would bring a sense of belonging, but I was wrong. Magic has tainted that too. There is nothing for me to reclaim. I am alone.
Magic has nothing to do with this, Fenris.
No. Greed for it didn't bring Daenerys here. Make my sister betray me? You heard what Varania said. I wanted these. I fought for them. I feel unclean. Like this magic is not only etched into my skin, but has also stained my soul. Let's go. I need to get out of here.
Guess we'll go back to the mansion now. Unless we're already there, we might already be there. Hey, look at all those levels. Well, now we know that, well, there's plenty of damage being done. That's good. But Meryl's not tanking. Not really. She's not holding threat. Which makes sense. I mean, she's not actually built to generate threat, even though she does quite a bit of threat. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to showcase here, just so you're aware. If you only give support and healing spells, you don't have to put any points into magic. None. You can put them all into willpower, because your magic does not actually increase the amount of healing done. Plus, healing does, but magic itself does not. The only thing this will do for Anders is maybe increase the amount of damage he does with his staff. I'll start doing that, but I don't think it's really necessary. He's got plenty of mana now. And now we can actually go ahead and use things fleshed out, except for here. So now we can actually go ahead and use Martyr. We'll have to add this into fires on enemy death based on rank. We'll have to see what we want to do with tactics on this. He'll activate Vengeance, so that way he can use Martyr to get his cooldowns and mana back. He only gets 5% mana with this, but he loses health. We'll see. We'll see. Says Vengeance must be active. I wonder what would happen if I actually put this in my tactics anyway. Alright. We are mainly going for this, though. He doesn't do a lot of damage, and it's probably unlikely it's going to happen, but if an enemy dies and he's the one that does the killing blow, he'll get a little bit of health back. Oh, you know what? It says Vengeance must be active on it. This one doesn't, though, so he's got 90% cooldown reduction. Or rather, 10% cooldown reduction. This is a weird way of saying it. He's got 90% cooldown for all spells. I think that just means his 10% less lower cooldown on all spells. I think that's what that means. Alright, let's see where we're going to put your points. Oh yeah, she does have crushing prison. We're gonna get horror also. Have to add that one into her tactics real quick. Enemy rank is a leader higher. Usability, horror. Okay. That's good. We'll give her more magic. So that way she does more damage. And Fenris, more willpower. There we go. Now he'll be adding stagger to a whole bunch of people. Very nice, very nice. It's over here. Oh, visit Gamlin. Let's go visit Gamlin.
Did I hear correctly? You are an abomination.
Why don't you shout? I don't think everyone heard you.
Do you see yourself as harmless then? An abomination who would never harm anyone?
Like ripping someone's heart out of his chest?
I did that at the behest of no demon.
So we agree that it doesn't take a demon for someone to be a vicious killer. Good.
He makes good arguments. There is a but there.
I'm sure you miss your uncle from time to time, but his house does smell very strange, even from the street.
I don't know why we didn't... I mean, Gamlin is part of this family, even if he is a rascal. I don't know why we didn't invite him to the back to the mansion before now.
Leave that alone. There are things in my life that don't actually involve you, you know. Stay out of my business, boy.
That note mentioned the Gem of Kerashek. What's that?
It's nothing. Never mind.
If you're worried about who sent the note, I can go in your place.
Did I ask for that? I don't know who sent it, and I don't want to. I lost everything chasing that gem. Our fortune, our home, even Mara.
Who's Mara?
She's... none of your concern. That's who she is. Why don't you head back to your fancy house in Hightown and stay out of my damn business?
Come on, Gamlin.
So you've done well for yourself. I had my doubts the first time I saw you, but I guess there was something to that Hawke fellow Leandra ran off with after all. You made a pretty good son anyway. Your mother would be proud.
I just wish Mother had lived to see me become champion.
I know Leandra, and she'd be absolutely glowing from all the praise that's been heaped on you. I don't say this often, but with Bethany locked in the gallows, you're the only real family I have left. For a long time, I thought the Amel line in Kirkwall would end at me. I'm glad you've pulled it out of the grave. Single-handedly saved the city from the heathens, huh? The Viscount.
I thought for sure he'd be able to tell him. I could have sworn we're able to get him to come live at the mansion with us. Alright, we're gonna go talk to Aveline. Oh, these loading times. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to pause through them. But in my defense, you guys can just skip right through it if you wanted to.
Your sister, I mean.
No.
You don't wish that maybe you hadn't found her again?
Whatever I wish, it is already done.
You're lucky then. There are so many things I wish I could undo.
We gotta see all these little vendors too. Well, it's on the way. Might as well. Ooh. Physical damage, crit damage. Done. Another sword. Sorry, guys. I know I get sidetracked. I just didn't want to come back here just for the vendors, you know?
The lot of Fereldans here has improved since your rise, champion. I'd be honored to sell you anything in the store.
Honestly, you got a better store than half those stalls out there. Yours is indoors. Attack speed and attack. Blood magic. That might be worth getting for Meryl. That's definitely worth getting for Meryl. Jeez. It's a no-brainer. Put that on now. Ring of Whispers. Ah, that gives strength. Okay. All right. Let's go to Aveline. Come on, Rowan.
Avert your eyes, witch.
You said I was dwelling on useless history. But what are you doing? The past is important to you and to all of us. We must know it to move forward.
Yet I have made no deal with a demon to learn of my past. You had a life, you had a family, and you abandoned them to chase after ghosts. We are nothing alike. Don't even begin to think that we are.
Wow. So mean. Alright, let's go talk to Aveline real quick.
Have I ever mentioned that I like your coat?
You do?
It's very lively, like a crow in the middle of hunting.
That's great. Thanks, Meryl.
God, we need to switch up our party a little bit. I mean, it's interesting banter and everything, but Fenris is such a brooder, man. Ah. I think all my party got a level. Go ahead and give her some more health. She could use it. do that for now.
Good luck getting in. I've been waiting all day.
Hello again, champion.
Ha! Ha! Back to the barracks. I never tire of it.
That should do it.
The only thing I do like about her is that she's military-minded, I guess. Not like thinking in terms of tactics or anything like that. It's more, I know what it's like to be in a military unit and that camaraderie. You know, you don't have friends like that elsewhere. You've all been through the thick and thin, you know, been through good times and bad times together. Especially the bad times. You might think that's a bad thing, but when you develop real bonds with people when you suffer with them.
Guardsmen, duties for the week will be
Low town canvas. 5 on, 3 off.
City perimeter by 2s. Clear by 2nd watch.
Training recruits full metal by week's end.
Anything else, Captain?
No. Thank you.
Damn. Look at that.
Donicus. A good man. I'm sorry, was there something you wanted?
You never said how your 3 weeks in Orlais went.
You're right. I didn't.
So how was it? Oh.
Anything else?
Your men could give the Templars a run for their sovereigns.
They've had to. As long as there's no Viscount, the Order thinks they can bark at any man in uniform. I won't have it. The people of Kirkwall need to see themselves in their guard. Lose that connection, we're just targets.
Kirkwall seems to have rallied around you.
I try to keep order, and people appreciate that. Everything else is going insane. A few complaints here and there, but for the most part, I think everyone's just glad the guard has been stable for a few years.
Just checking in. Need anything?
Yes, there's something. Come back soon. I'll get into it then.
I'll see you later.
Of course, Hawke.
That was it, huh? Alright, let's double check here. Companions. Oh, yeah, we gotta go back and talk to Fenris again. And Anders. Jeez. I thought we already talked to Anders. Alright, I'm trying to get all this done on this one video, so I do apologize that it's a longer video. Alright. Back to Fenris Mansion. That one makes sense. Because we just, yeah. Well, we just, had him spare his sister. We didn't talk to him about that. He's probably going to be upset about it. I think he'll thank us for having him spare.
You know, you could go anywhere you like now.
I'm aware of that.
Oh, you could become a raider. You could join my crew.
The crew of your non-existent ship?
Well, with that attitude, you're never going anywhere, are you?
She doesn't understand. Yes, I am free. Daenerys is dead. Yet, it doesn't feel like it should.
You thought killing him would solve everything. But it doesn't.
I suppose not. I thought if I didn't need to run and fight to stay alive, I would finally be able to live as a free man does. But how is that? My sister is gone, and I have nothing. Not even an enemy.
Maybe that just means there's nothing holding you back.
An interesting thought. It's just difficult to overlook the stain that magic has left on my life. If I seem bitter, it's not without cause. Perhaps it is time to move forward. I just don't know where that leads. Do you?
You're still blaming magic for everything.
Think about it, Hawke. Look at what happened to your mother, your sister, so many others. Is there anyone whose life has been touched by magic that actually benefits?
Blaming magic isn't the answer.
There are problems enough in this world without putting such power in the hands of those too weak to resist its allure. Them I fear, as should you, as should anyone. But what's important now is moving forward. I only wish I knew where that led.
Nobody knows the future, Fenris.
The future of a slave is never uncertain. But I am no longer a slave. Perhaps it is time I remembered that. Thank you, Hawke. Of all the things I thought to find here, a friend was not one of them. Wherever the future leads, I hope it is at your side.
Anything else? Okay, now Justice. Or Anders, rather. No, he's more Justice than Anders these days, I think. He's like Justice tainted by Anders. I think that's the problem. Justice on its own is good, but when you pervert it, it turns into something corrupt and bad.
I'm going to be trying something, and I thought you'd want to be part of it. We've both been wrong. What I did with Justice was unnatural. It should never have happened.
Is there some way to undo it?
I've spent the past 3 years researching the methods of Tevinter Magisters. They're the only ones who have ever sought to reverse spirit possession, not just behead the victims. I believe I have a formula for a potion that can separate Justice and me, without killing either.
Is it dangerous?
There are always dangers with magic. But I believe this will be worth the cost.
Surely that's worth any risk it entails.
I knew you'd stand behind me in this. Even if...
What?
Nothing. I've gathered most of what I need, but there are some outlandish ingredients I was hoping you'd help me collect. A powder the Tevinters call Celepetre, and a small amount of Drakestone.
Is it just a potion? Is there anything more to this ritual?
No, no ritual. Just mix the ingredients up and... boom. Justice and I are free. And we can take our rightful place among free mages.
What is Drakestone?
The Tevinters used to mine it for their apothecaries. There should still be deposits in the bone pit.
Where would we find Celepetre?
It's a crystal that forms from concentrated manure and urine.
We can't just buy it somewhere?
It's not used by mages here. There's no reason for any merchant to stock it. I suggest we search the sewers. There's an entrance not far from here in Darktown.
We're not looking for virgin's blood or the tongue of a hanged man or anything, are we?
Well, you know Tevinters. They can't throw a Wintersend party without a human sacrifice or two. But I promise, everything in my research says there's no blood magic involved.
Alright. I don't remember this quest. You know what? Actually, I think I do. I won't ruin it.
I didn't expect you to stick around for this mess, Meryl. This has nothing to do with your elves.
I love Hawke. I wouldn't go anywhere.
But it's not your fight.
I love Hawke.
You said that.
I say it a lot. It makes things clearer. Takes away doubt when everything's crazy and people are dying.
I understand.
Oh, good. Someone should.
Aw. It's cute. It's over here. Alright, well, this is where we're gonna call it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Y'all have a good night.